Welcome to the Delmarva Almanac. Each week we connect you to the best of Delmarva. Like other almanacs, our aim is to tell you a little bit about our past, our present, and events in the near future. Here's Gretchen Hanson, Executive Chef of Hobos Restaurant in Rehoboth Beach, to tell us about being hungry.
I think about food all the time. From the moment I wake up in the morning until I go to sleep at night, I am creating recipes, menus, and obsessed with every aspect of the inventive and creative cooking process. I was born a chef, and whatever else I am, it is my defining characteristic. Most people plan their lives around their extracurricular activities, entertainment, and social events. My life revolves around food, obtaining new and exotic ingredients, and how to present, cook, or prepare them. A new juicer will entertain me for weeks. A 12-level dehydrator, more fun than a year of Netflix. My first date with my husband was a coffee date at a bagel shop. He almost didn't get a second date when he told the counter person, nothing to eat. But I relented, and our second date was a punishing road trip to a Korean grocery store over 200 miles away. It was the ultimate trial by fire. Most men would rather do anything than grocery shop all day. He pushed my cart. He actually pretended to be interested in my lecture on the difference between galangal root and ginger and the brilliance of mung beans as a food source. Of course I had to marry him. Every major event in my life is cataloged by what I cooked or what I ate. I remember the birth of each child by what I craved during the pregnancy and what I was cooking when I went into labor. I remember each holiday by its yearly menu. The Christmas that Holly wanted liverwurst waffle sandwiches for brunch. The Easter I made strawberry rhubarb balsamic jam and buttermilk scones with black pepper. If Santa thinks I'm a good girl this year, he will stuff my stocking with only exotic spices, saffrons, and salts. Food is my obsession, my craft, and my first true love. Anyone that ever said you can't find love in your refrigerator has never been in mine. When I am sad, I cook. When I am happy, I cook. When I am in love, I cook a lot. When I'm out of love, I cook some more. I cook everything from scratch, so the nature of what I do is like a long-term relationship. I once spent 9 months making matzo balls. 9 months until the fluffy perfection melted in your mouth like a French quenelle. 9 months with my hands buried in chicken schmaltz and a vat of simmering broth on my stove. I was obsessed with perfection and triumphed the month before my first child was born. His birth is a memory of matzo balls, fluffy and light and delicate and smelling like chicken. With this obsession with food, it's going to come as little surprise that I've never faced legitimate hunger in my life. I have dieted and restricted my caloric intake so I would not be as round as the matzo balls I was making. But the reality is that I've never been without food or a pantry that would not carry a small army through the very worst nuclear winter. True hunger, I had not a clue what that was like. I eat pretty much all day long every day. I joke that I eat my body weight every day in vegetables, and yet it really is not that far from the truth. I found out what hunger was on my second smallest child's 7th birthday when I was doing a pizza party in her class. 22 7-year-olds clamoring for pizza and cupcakes, and one small child was wrapping his pizzas in napkins and stashing them in his desk. He was making a cheesy, gooey, greasy mess that I tried to clean up. I picked it up out of his desk to throw it in the trash, and he said to me, "Please, Hayden's mommy, please, can you leave those there? I am taking them home to my brother and sister. They have nothing to eat." And I was ashamed that in the midst of my obsession with food, there was a child the age of my own child, that had no food in his pantry, that had nothing to put in his tummy at night, a child that went to bed hungry, a child that knew what hunger felt like. This was not a commercial on television, but a child that sat next to mine every single day, a child that lived not a mile from my house. In the midst of the Cape Henlopen School District, at last count, there are 284 children that are considered homeless. There are 147 families that are affected or separated by homelessness. There are 1,767 children, that's 32% of our school district, that are low income or below the poverty line, who frequently go to bed hungry or are hungry when they come to school. While these children get assistance from food pantries and qualify for school lunches, there are huge gaps in the system. This is not some town in a depressed area that I've heard about on the news. This is my town, and your town, and our children, and our future. I live in a town where houses along the beach routinely sell for millions of dollars, and yet we have poverty in our schools that defies comprehension. The socioeconomic divide between students is staggering. I serve organic meat and wild seafood in a restaurant that is no more than a mile away from a code purple homeless shelter and a half a dozen soup kitchens. I wish I could feed the world. I wish I could make sure that every single child went to bed at night with food in their tummy. I wish that hunger was still something I only thought about when I was trying to lose a few pounds. And here is the pause, the punctuation, the moment that is not defined by food, but rather the lack of it. Here is the moment, for the first time I realized that I could not fix this myself. I realized I needed a village to cook with me. I needed a village to feed our children. Every town has its food pantries and soup kitchens and good purple shelters. Find yours. Find yours and volunteer. Find yours and make the difference.
Visit our website to get links to food banks in your state. That's delmarvaalmanac.com/hunger. Well, that's all for this edition of the Delmarva Almanac. We'd like to thank our community partners, the Friends of Delmarva Public Radio, the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, and underwriters, eatdrinkbuyart.com, for their help in bringing this program to you, our audience. Our theme music was provided by Brightside Studio. This show has been a Moonshell production. Thanks for listening. Until we meet again, may the rhythms and tides of Delmarva bring you good fortune.